Hey, and welcome to the D-Toxd Digest. Our podcast has been put together so that we can give you insights into life so that you can make every moment matter. So, if you're interested in healthy things, sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. Hey, and welcome to episode 2 of the D-Toxd Digest, our podcast where we give you insights into life so you can make every moment matter. My name is Gareth and I'm one half of D-Toxd, a health retreat out here in Spain where we help you deal with all things healthy living involved. And we've put this podcast together to give you some simple insights, like we said, into life so that you can make every moment matter. In today's episode, we're going to give you 5 ways that you can deal with stress. Now, let's face it, excuse me, we all face stress every now and then. Without stress, we wouldn't grow. Without stress, we wouldn't learn. Some of it is anticipated, and a lot of the time stress is unexpected. But why is it that sometimes we have that straw that breaks the camel's back? You know, that little thing that makes us realize how stressed we are. And stress doesn't just happen unless, of course, like we said, it is very unexpected. Big changes in relationships, moving home, the loss of a loved one, accidents, so many things can contribute to the big things that create stress. But why is it sometimes that it's the little things that build up over time? Why is it sometimes that there are things that get to us that we realize all of a sudden that we haven't dealt with? And there are loads and loads of different ways that you can deal with stress, but we wanted to share today 5 simple ways that you can deal with it. The first one that comes up when we speak to people about stressful situations is talking. A lot of times we keep too much stuff to ourselves. We keep it all inside and we say to ourselves, I can deal with this. This isn't getting to me. This doesn't bug me. And we don't talk about things. And then all of a sudden something happens and we feel like we've got this whole mountain of shit to deal with, excuse my language, but we've got this whole mountain of stuff to deal with. Talking about things really helps us to get a different perspective, get a different insight, and sometimes it's really good to find someone to talk at rather than to talk to, because just the simple matter or the simple fact of talking about things helps you get them off your chest. When we hear ourselves saying something, we can sometimes realize the solution in that moment. So talking about things goes a long, long way. As someone who struggles with mental health challenges, I often find it difficult to talk about things. And then when it comes to a point in my life where I think that maybe it is time to talk about stuff, it feels like there is so much stuff. And so much of the time, I talk myself out of it. I say to myself, oh, other people have got problems that they're dealing with, so why should I talk about things? And I guess you know what I'm talking about. But when I sit down and talk at someone, it makes me realize how much I've been keeping inside. And once I've spoken about it, it gives me a fresh perspective. It makes me realize, okay, if I can talk about this situation, then I can potentially deal with it. The second one, and it's quite a common one really when we think about it, is not to compare yourself to other people. In this day and age where a lot of our lives are lived online and we live in a social media and electronic world, it's very, very easy to compare ourselves to what other people show. Now, here's the reality of it on social media. Nobody is ever going to show that things aren't going well all the time. Yes, you can get some of those people who share things that are a bit downhearted all the time, and we start to see how people respond to it, and then in our heads we start making comparisons. And when we make those comparisons, what we're actually doing is we're putting ourselves down and we're minimizing what is going on. Now, in some circumstances, don't get me wrong, in some circumstances that can make a difference as to how we approach our situations. But what it does do is it downplays the importance of something that you're going through. Now, if you're going through something, from a woo-woo perspective, it means that there is something to be learned. There is a lesson that is being highlighted for you right now, for you to learn something about your situation, but more importantly, something about yourself. So comparing yourself to other people is not going to help you do that. You are you. Nobody is going to ever be able to do you like you do. Nobody is ever going to go through the situations that you are going to go through in your life. Nobody has had the life education that you have had. Yes, we may have similarities, and there may be things that are similar to what other people have gone through, but me being me makes my experience unique and makes my perspective unique. And when I compare myself to other people, I constantly am putting myself down. I'm constantly at the back of my mind saying, hey, Gareth, do you know what? You're not good enough. Hey, Gareth, do you know what? You're not coping with this well enough. If I'm not coping with a certain situation in my life right now that is creating stress for me, maybe I don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with it. And that relates to number one. When I start to talk about things, it makes it easier to not compare myself to other people. Because a lot of times when we start to speak up about situations that we've been through, and I've had this so many times when I've had the opportunity to sit down and speak to people, and please, I'm sorry if I am getting a little bit passionate about this, but this is a topic that is really, really special to me. A lot of times I've sat down and someone has spoken to me, and I've been able to go, do you know what? Me too. And I think sometimes in life, that is one of the greatest things that we can hear from other people is when they say, do you know what? Me too. Because then they can share insights into how they dealt with things. They can share their experience of how they got through things. So comparing yourself to other people, unless you're going to learn and use it to help you grow, don't do it. Drop that sort of stuff, It's not good to compare yourself to other people because, like I said, you are you. Okay, enough on that one. The third one is, and it might sound too simple to be effective, but the third one is to be thankful. Now, I'm sure that we've all come across people who have said that it's good to write a gratitude list and it's good to write down things that we are grateful for, because for us, the key to the solutions in our lives are hidden in the patterns of the past. And a lot of times, and this is a really, really sad thing, is that I only truly become grateful for something when I've almost lost it. It's really, really easy to say, oh, I'm grateful for my family, and I'm grateful for my health, and I'm grateful for whatever it is that I am thankful for. But sometimes it takes a difficult situation to make us realize how truly important something is to us. And like I said, the key to our future and the solutions to problems that come up in the future are hidden in the patterns of the past. And sometimes those patterns of the past are hidden in the things that we are truly thankful for. Because when we are thankful for things, it puts our mind into a positive state. It puts our mind into a more productive state. And it gets us looking for solutions. When I sit back and I get totally overwhelmed and bogged down by the things that are making me stressful, it is very hard to look for solutions. But when I sit down and say to myself, do you know what? As difficult as it is, right now I am thankful for this situation. I can start to look at the seeds that are buried within it. I can start to look for the things that will help me grow through this situation. And I can start to look for the keys that help me to open up different doors. So that's that one. Number 4, take your daily ease. And by ease, we don't mean those tablets that make you do strange things. By ease, we mean make sure that you exercise and make sure that you eat well, especially during stressful times. During stressful times, it's really, really easy to turn to crutches. It's easy to turn to treats and quick and easy food that isn't really good for us. And it's easy to get locked up in the confines of our mind and not get outside and do some exercise. But when we start eating well and we start eating food that is better for us, it gets the body releasing all those feel-good dopamines and oxytocins and hormones that make us feel good, but that don't come with a crash. Think of the things that you turn to when you are stressed. You maybe kind of like binge on a certain type of food. Do you feel better? Yes, maybe for a short while, but in the long run, you only end up feeling worse because you start to beat yourself up. You start to say, oh, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that, and you start to create even more perceived stress in your mind, which then makes you to turn to more crap again to get that quick fix. And when I exercise and I go outside, I'm going to give my body endorphins. I'm going to get fresh air. I'm going to start seeing things from a different perspective, and it is going to help me just to feel a little bit better. Doing exercise really will give your body a big boost because it'll help you take your mind off the situation at hand and start thinking about it from a different perspective. So make sure you get your daily ease. Exercise well and eat well, especially during stressful periods. Number 5, and we're almost at the end, so thanks for hanging on, is to always do your best. And that, for me, is a key factor in dealing with stressful situations. If I have done my best and I'm totally honest with myself and said to myself, is there any more that I could actually have done in this situation, then that's all that counts. Because, you know, in life, the only thing that you can do is to do your best. When things get stressful, it can sometimes be easy to run away from the situation. It can sometimes be easy to withdraw from your circle of friends or withdraw from people and keep things to yourself. And we kind of like bury ourselves in action. But when I sit back and say to myself at the end of the day, today, did I do my best? If the answer is yes, then I give myself a pat on the back. If the answer is no, then I give myself a pat on the back and will say to myself, well done for finding something new that you can do tomorrow. Because doing your best is the only thing that you can really do. And that's what we're really, really focusing on in stressful situations, is doing your best. There is only so much that you can do. There are only so much actions that you can take during the day. And it's important to acknowledge the things that you are doing to contribute to you dealing with this stressful situation. So make sure that you're always doing your best. And I'm going to chuck in a bonus one here because I think it's always good to have extra tips that can help you. And this one I'm going to be called the ABCs. And that stands for always be compassionate. Be compassionate not only to other people, but also to yourself. If you are compassionate to yourself and understand, like I said in the first one, that I'm doing my best, and understand that I've made the effort to do some exercise and get some good food in, and understand that I'm being thankful for these situations that I may not be happy with, but that have been brought my way now. And understanding that I'm not comparing myself to people, it makes it a lot easier to talk about things. It makes me be kinder to myself, because during stressful situations or during tough times, it's very easy to be hard on yourself. It's very easy to say, oh, you should have done that, and I could have done that, and I wish I hadn't done that, and so on and so forth. And we beat ourselves up over and over again, and we make ourselves feel like a heap of... I don't have a beeping machine, and I nearly said the word, but I think that you get what I said. So having a little bit of compassion goes a long, long way. But also be compassionate towards other people, because just like me, they're also facing their own challenges. Just like me, maybe they're also doing their best. Just like me, maybe they're afraid to talk about things, and as a result of that, they lash out and create stress in my life. As a result, they behave in certain ways that create stress for the people around them. And when I approach things with that attitude of compassion, it makes it a lot easier for me to sit back and say, okay, what could this person be going through right now that is causing them to behave a certain way? And what it really does is it helps me to take responsibility for my part in everything. It helps me to look at my actions and say, okay, well, if I was kinder to myself, how could I have responded? Because when we are stressed, emotions are high. And when emotions are high, intelligence, unfortunately, comes down. And we react extremely, extremely quickly. When we take time out to be a little bit compassionate, it's a lot easier to move forward. So I'll just recap those simple tips that I've shared with you today. The first one, talk about it. The second one, don't compare yourself to other people. Stop comparing yourself to other people. The third one, be thankful. The fourth one, take your ease, get exercise and eat well. Number 5, always do your best. And number 6, the ABCs. Always be compassionate. So there you have it. Some simple ways that you can deal with stress today, and hopefully they have helped you in some way. If you have enjoyed this episode, please like it, share it, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you leave your comments or questions below, maybe we can use those for future podcast episodes. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you soon. Have a great day and take it easy. Bye-bye.